Hey everybody, Zian over here from Nintendo Life. Now, I don't know about you, but in recent years, the Nintendo Switch eShop has been pretty frustrating for me. It's not the most fun experience. It feels like it's worse than it was way back when the Switch came out, and I don't really understand how that's possible. So to chat all about the highs and lows, our thoughts and feelings about it all, and what we'd love to see change, I'm joined by the fantastic Mr. Felix.
Hello, it's Felix. What do you think about my eShop impression there?
Oh, you were lagging out a little bit, but I do understand. I appreciate that.
But hello, I am here to talk about the eShop, and it's a topic we've been eager to talk about. Is we've just not found the right time, but now it is, and
yeah,
what a time it's going to be.
Yeah, this chat's going to be interesting because it's not fun to talk about like the negatives of something, but we mean it it's like constructive criticism. We just want it to get better.
Yeah,
that's why we're making this chat. Just the other day, I asked the community on Twitter, at least like on my own personal Twitter, I asked people how they felt about the Switch eShop. I asked them to give it a ranking from like 1 to 5 stars and asked them to explain it, why they felt that way. And I was really surprised to see that there was a lot of negative feedback about the eShop. We're not alone in these thoughts. It's not just our internet.
Oh, definitely. I saw a lot of people like you asked them to rate it from 1 to 5, and a lot of people were like 3 or around there because, it is good to find games, but it could be so much better. There's so many things they could implement that would make it such a more fun experience.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem here, I think, overall with a lot of the feedback that we were given from people and from the stuff that we've come up with is that it's just not a whole lot of fun to browse the eShop, and it really should be. Like Nintendo's created this platform, this online storefront for us to want to go in and spend money, and our gold coins, realistically, right? And it's just so, for how long the Switch eShop has been around, it's like, what, 5? Is it? It's been 5 years now, hasn't it?
Why is it not a priority to make this a better experience?
I don't know. So I guess let's dive into the interface and just the overall speed of things itself. So it's super laggy to really just browse the games, and one thing that I've noticed, and that I think a few people mentioned as well, was that once you start, like let's say you go through the great deals section, which is something I do very often. I'll go through and see if there's anything random to spend like a few dollars on, or just a little chunk of money on, and when you start getting through the list, like further and further, it feels like I don't know about you, but for me, it feels like it gets slower and slower the further you get down the list. And then once you click something, it takes forever to load that game in, and sometimes maybe it doesn't. It's not every time that it's a slow experience, but fairly often it just feels like you just do so much sitting around and waiting for things to load. I just don't understand, kind of like you said, why it isn't a priority to make this experience as seamless as possible so that way people spend money. It just doesn't make any sense, right?
Oh, sorry, my mind just blanked. I was looking at the eShop and there was a game called Felix the Reaper, and I thought that was really fun.
That's great.
And I was trying to take a screenshot of that game, but you can't.
You can't screenshot anything on the eShop, and I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like back in the day you were able to take screenshots on the eShop. I don't have any of my old screenshots because one time I switched to a different Switch system and lost. Yeah, you lose them if you're not careful, and that I definitely wasn't careful. But it's a bummer that you can't screenshot things because you want to remember this Felix thing, or this Felix the Reaper game, or maybe you want to go share it on Twitter and tell people all about it, but they don't allow you to screenshot it to share with people. I don't really understand the reason why that is restricted. There's no private information on here. Anybody can go look. The only thing that I could see is that somebody would share an image of a game on sale, and then a few weeks later, it wouldn't be on sale anymore potentially, and someone might see that image and get upset. But beyond that,
but it does say 4 days remaining, and if you look, and then this picture was
you're right. Yeah. So so not only is that an issue, is if you want to go tell people that a game's on sale, that's kind of a big reason for me why I'm upset about the screenshotting thing, is that it's just not as easy to. But then if you've already bought a game as well, it won't tell you the price of what the game is, so you can't even Like let's say, for example, like I saw Bug Fables is on sale and I loved it. It's a really cute little RPG on Switch. I'll never know what it's on sale for, so I'm not gonna go stand at the top of a mountain and tell everybody, hey, go buy Bug Fables because it's on sale for $10. I don't even know, what, and it's not even on sale right now. Just all hypothetical, but it's just there. It's a tiny little thing, but I don't know why Nintendo couldn't just put like a little price on there that's like a different color or something. There's so many little things that just like make the experience so insufferable. So that's a very minor thing, I think, in a way. But what is there?
We maybe went on a tangent there. But it's like a big theme with this, right? A lot of like small things that combine to an overall not very pleasant experience.
Even if you want to buy a game too, you can't buy multiple games in the same transaction because there's no shopping cart on the Switch eShop, which
I never thought about it, but that's crazy that you can't do that.
When you would buy games on the Wii Shop channel and then on like the Wii U and the 3DS, they always had like a fun little animation. Like on the 3DS, for example, after you would buy a game and it would take you to the download screen, you would see the icon of the game that you bought. And over time, these little balls would fall, like scroll across the top of the screen, and they would fall down into the icon and it would fill up. And it just added a bit of charm and style to this potentially boring wait. And sure, you didn't have to actually like wait for the games. You could download them in the background if you wanted, but it was still just a fun way that they handled this. And on the Switch here, we don't have anything like that. Even on the Wii, you maybe have seen videos of this, Felix, because I know you said you didn't really do like the Wii Shop channel too much, but when you would buy a game, like Mario would hit like question blocks and hit like brick blocks, and like he would get coins, and I think even on like certain, if I remember correctly, like on certain holidays or something, like they would have like a different animation that would play, or maybe that was on the Wii U. I don't remember exactly, but it feels like the eShop is just so bare bones in so many ways, right?
It lacks charm. It's very, I don't know, bland. In a sense, there's no music. Why is there not music?
Real.
I'm sitting here listening to the shop theme from the Wii, and this is just so good. Like, I would have a blast just going. I would lose the sense of time. And now, like, here, there's nothing. There's just sound effects, and, the sound effects are cool and all, but there's really need of some music. And, they also removed it from the Meme Maker, so maybe they just felt that, okay, we don't need music. There's not music in the main menu of the Switch. Again, so maybe it's just like the branding of the Switch in a sense, but I'm not sure.
It's just like Breath of the Wild, no music, right?
Well, I won't agree with you there. I really like the music.
I know. That was a straight stab in your side there. Don't worry.
No, I really love the music in Breath of the Wild. Don't come at me like that.
I know. I'm sorry, but you're totally right though. Like even the Wii U and the 3DS had seasonal music that they would implement. They would update it once a year or maybe during the holidays, and even like the Wii Shop channel. It lives on today. Even people that never went on the Wii Shop channel know of that music. And I think that experience would be completely different without that music. Even the Wii Shop channel wasn't even like that fun to browse, I think. But because it was the early days, there was something magical about it. But then that music just really bolstered the whole experience. And now we don't, like, why has Nintendo not taken the things that made their old storefronts good and made this one better? We've seen little adjustments, I think, like when during Mario's 35th anniversary, I think the eShop changed for a little bit and had kind of a Mario theme, but beyond that, it hasn't really seen improvements. And I wonder if it's because of what I've heard through the grapevine of people talking on the internet, is that it sounds like the Switch eShop is actually run through the built-in web browser of the Switch, which I know is not like, that's hidden away. It's not really meant for people to just use. But I wonder if there is some truth in that as to why Nintendo hasn't really been able to update the eShop, is because it's not just an app baked into the Switch. There's an app that's running the web browser that's then pulling the data from the internet, and it's going as fast as it can. And then another thing that kind of led to that I wish I remembered where I read this or anything, but they were saying that the reason that potentially when you are going down a list of games, or you're going through the bestsellers or great deals or recent releases or whatever, and it starts to bog down more, is because the system isn't like caching any of those images that you're looking at or any of that data. So every time you reboot up the eShop, it has to like re-download all of those images and assets and everything. And then as you add more and more and more into that kind of temporary memory, I suppose, if you will, it just gets slower and gets overwhelmed, and it just has a harder time. It's like you're going to the grocery store without a shopping cart, and you're asking your mom to carry all the groceries that you want to buy, and she just doesn't have enough arms and to hold them anymore. That's how I'm imagining the eShop is handling.
That's a good
itself.
way to put it.
Thanks,
I mean,
thanks.
I've used the web browser like before. I don't know. I don't feel like I can use it anymore, but at some point I could use the web browser. I can't remember. Like there was a way to access it.
Cool.
And now that you mention it, it was like very similar to the Nintendo eShop. The way like everything is just a bit slow and things load in, so it would definitely make sense. And that's maybe why we don't have music and stuff.
Even if they did have, let's say they never create like a specific app for the eShop, if it is running off this web browser, I think there are still some things though that they could do to improve the overall experience while still keeping it within that web browser, even if we don't get music or whatever. One thing that I did notice that a few people brought up was the fact that there's no rating system for the eShop.
Yeah.
And when you look back, I don't remember if the Wii had one, but the Wii U and the 3DS definitely do. And actually, just for fun, I went on and I rated Earthbound on my 3DS eShop today.
How nice of you.
Yeah, had to do it. But it's a very simple system. It just asks you a few questions, and I believe it does require you to own the game too, so that way we wouldn't have to worry about people like coming in and review bombing a game or something like that they don't like just because they haven't bought it, or something.
Yeah.
So it also just, it feels like a missed opportunity for Nintendo to not do something like that. And I think the eShop experience would just be better if we didn't have all of this like shovelware to kind of sift through, right? Because I think that's part of the pain here as well.
So much stuff gets lost.
Yeah. And even like if you go to look through the best sellers or the great deals or whatever, and you see just a bunch of junk in front of your face, like you're gonna get more and more disappointed about like taking the time to sift through everything. Where if we have a rating system and we're able to go in and look at like,
you could see like games, the games with the best ratings, because games with good ratings tend to like have a high chance of impressing you, because it's a good game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Of course there are like games that other people don't like that you like, but I feel like most of the time when people like stuff, for example with Celeste, I had heard so good things about it, and then I tried it out and I absolutely loved it, because it is just a fantastic game.
Yeah, and I wonder how easy, like beyond just searching Celeste, I wonder how easy it actually would be to just stumble upon that game on the eShop. And as it is right now, I think it would be pretty tough. Beyond, like, Nintendo does have the option where you can go in and sort games by, like, if they've had a full, what is it? If you look at best sellers, if you click best sellers, the US eShop at least allows you to look at all games and then download only games.
Yeah, mine does too.
Okay, cool.
That's neat. Credit where credit is due.
This option does allow you to see, indie titles a bit better, especially if something goes on sale and it does super well and people, really, if a lot of people are buying it for good reason. Hopefully it'll pop up in there. Like number 6 is Cuphead right now, which I know Cuphead's like in the indie space. It's a big game, but it's still nice to see.
Cuphead is fantastic.
And I'm so sorry, I still haven't played it, Felix. I swear one day I
haven't
will.
played Earthbound either, so like maybe we can trade at some point when we have time.
Yeah. That's sometime we'll sit down and we'll take like a few weeks and we'll just play. We'll play our own recommendations.
Yeah. That'll be a grand old time.
But I do, to at least end that note, I do think that if they had a rating system in there, I think a lot of people that responded to that Twitter post, I think they're absolutely right. Even if it was just a simple a 5-star rating system and you had to own the game in order to rank it, I think that would make just the experience a lot better. And they wouldn't have to do anything probably crazy with the interface in order to make that happen, I would think. But
yeah. There's also like, maybe they don't even need to like add a 5-star rating. Maybe they can do something similar to Netflix, where you can like, super like, and dislike and super dislike, or something like that. And then, it recommends stuff that it feels like you would like, oh, you have like 90% chance of liking this or something like that. I just feel like that would clutter out so much stuff of like, you could have like recommended for you section.
Yeah.
I feel like that would do wonders if you could like, okay, I really like Super Mario Odyssey. I really like Mario Kart 8. And then it would like recommend more games like that. That's a feature I wish it had at least.
Well, and you brought up a good point too earlier before when we were just chatting privately before this discussion, was that you can sort games by, or you can look at games by genre, which is really nice because then if you're a fan of platformers or RPGs or something, you can, or visual novels, you can go in and you can find exactly what you're looking for. But the problem with that still is that there are so many games in the eShop right now that there's a lot of games probably in every different genre, and you don't know what's going to be good and what isn't. Like I think like people like you and I, or even just people that play a lot of video games, we kind of are fortunate enough to kind of know a bit about not everything, but
yeah,
there's a good chance that we might have at least heard of something or have the ability to go look it up online or something. But with how many games are out here, I wonder how many people just kind of take a chance on something and then end up hating it because it's not a quality game, or the thumbnail looked better and the screenshots looked better than the actual game is, and yeah, just having that rating system in any capacity would just be so nice for a lot of people out there. This is something that I don't take a whole lot of advantage of this, but I've seen, it seems like a lot of other people do, and I don't know how you feel about it, Felix, but the gold coins feature is also kind of something that we don't see on other eShops. Like, I don't think the 3DS and the Wii U had it, if memory serves me correct, and if it did, people are going to let me know in the comments, but the gold coins is kind of a cool thing, because you'd basically buy a game, and like if you buy, I think, a $50 game, do you get, is it like 10% back or something like that in rewards for gold coins digitally?
I don't know if it's that much.
Oh, sorry, I just looked it up and it's 5%.
You get some gold coins and you can then use these gold coins to like get a discount on games. And I've actually found this feature like very nice. It's basically,
Oh, have you?
Well, I really like this feature because when you buy games and then you save up the gold coins and then suddenly you can save $10 off a game just on gold coins. And you can even do this with physical copies. If you pop on the game card and then press the good old plus button on the game you've put in, then you can go down to My Nintendo Rewards program and earn gold points, and you get the gold points as you do on the eShop, if anyone didn't know that. I think most people do, but just in case.
I think you get rewarded with way more points if you buy the game digitally versus physically, and I think that's probably why I haven't taken as much of advantage of it. But
also, if you pre-order the game, I think you get like double the points, or like buy it early on.
Okay.
I've seen like get 2 times the gold points or stuff like that, like to sell the game. But
You're right.
It's not like anything I go and think about during the day, but when I get to like that page of buying a game and it says, oh, save, $5 to $10, I'll take that any day. It's free money. It's like you just get to save money, which is always welcome.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you don't have to be doing anything different. Like if you're buying digital games, you get rewarded pretty good with it. It adds up if you're buying a lot of games and especially digitally too. And you can get like the one thing I've used my gold coins for a lot is because I usually expensive games, I usually buy them physically, but I found myself buying a lot of like just really random indie games that I maybe never would have tried otherwise because I have those gold coins sitting around.
Exactly.
And you're right, like you can't really like that is probably one of the best features of the eShop.
Hands on, yes. Free stuff is neat. But Sion, to round things off, why don't we both like pick a thing we really like about the eShop and I think we like really dislike. I think we wish they could improve on.
Okay.
And I'll go first. So I don't know why. I love the jingle at the start when you enter the eShop. The doodle-diddle-din. Like, I don't know if it's like what brings up nostalgia for when I like first brought Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just, we say it doesn't have music, but it does like that small thing. I really enjoy that. A thing I don't enjoy is that when you have wishlisted a game and you've bought that game, it still sits in my wishlist. It should just delete itself from there because I already have the game. It just adds a new step that I have to go manually in and removes games I've already bought. which, yeah, it's just a silly feature. But what about you, Sion? What's a feature you really like?
Well, so I do actually want to riff off of what you said there, actually, because I didn't even really think about like the little jingle, that plays at the beginning when you're loading the eShop. And it is really nice. And I think it goes by so quick that I forget about it. But, oh gosh, imagine, I know we've already talked about this, but imagine if like that just led into playing a song that was specific to the eShop, just right after it's done loading, music just starts. What if they played the eShop channel like on Wednesdays exclusively? I don't think Nintendo would ever do that, but yeah, could you imagine how silly that'd be? And then for me with the wishlist thing too, I actually don't mind that games don't go away on it.
No?
And I think the reason I like that they don't is because then whenever I go into my wish list to browse games and see like if anything's on sale or whatever, if I see a game that I've already bought is on there, I like close it out and it feels like I'm like checking off a box on like a list or something.
Oh yeah,
it's really weird.
Well, that's true.
But
also,
it's like it's not therapeutic. That's not the word I want to use for it, but it just...
Well, you also really like checking off lists, you've told me.
I do. You're right. I am a list person. So, so my favorite thing about the eShop though is definitely the wish list function. And honestly, maybe the more I think about it, maybe it's just a necessity at this point because of how many games are out there and the fact that we don't have a rating system. But basically every month, whenever I would curate like the monthly games list videos or just whenever I remember, I'll go through and I'll look at all of the upcoming games or all of the games that just recently released.
Yeah.
And anything I'm interested in, I'll wish list it because otherwise I'm worried I'm never going to find that game again. And
yeah, it's going to get buried in all the shovelware.
Exactly. Yeah. And the way that the games on sale list is sorted is traditionally based on how well the games are selling. So it's not even going to be sorted by the quality of the games themselves. So something that you've been wanting to play forever may get added to the on sales list and it might not be selling well enough because the discount isn't steep enough. So it's all the way at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. I feel like the top of the list is always just stuff 90% off, like games.
Yeah, it's always super deep discounts. But I think the thing that I like about it the most is that you can actually opt in to get emails sent to you whenever a game goes on sale, or like once a week or twice or once every 2 weeks or something like that. But yeah, occasionally I'll just get an email that says like, hey, a few games on your wish list are on sale. And I'll look at that email, and those emails have helped me buy so many games on the eShop in the past.
I did know that you could have it on Steam, but I did not know you could do it with like the eShop. That's actually very helpful.
Yeah. I don't know if you have to go onto the website to turn it on or something like that. Exactly. I don't know.
You probably have. Nintendo wouldn't make it convenient.
That's fair. And the thing I really hate is just the fact that it just isn't really fun to browse the eShop. It's the speed and the fact that there's no music. Like, it should be good to window shop, and it's not.
I'm sorry. We are like very like, but sometimes stuff just ain't as good as it could be.
We just want the eShop to be better. It's been 5 years. We took I didn't take a vote necessarily, but I counted up out of the 106 replies at the time of recording this video on Twitter, 54 people, which is more than 50% of people, complained about the fact that the eShop is just slow and laggy. And that's just a bummer to hear that like all of these people are really experiencing the problems that we're having. And the other 50% of people didn't mention it, but maybe they're also experiencing it as well. They definitely didn't talk about the fact that it was fast. And it just...
The Nintendo Switch eShop is just super fast.
Yeah, Sonic speed.
That was a good impression.
Thank you. That's one impression I guess I can kind of do. And you and Alex have Mario and Waluigi voices down. I'll just stick with Sonic over here. So Felix, going into this video, I really, before we asked the community, I had some things that I wanted to talk about, but I was, once again, like we said before, I was just really surprised to see that so many other people are experiencing a lot of the same problems and hiccups and even just more. They brought up more things that I, ever would have thought about. And I really hope, even if Nintendo doesn't get to, hear our pleas and the things that we want to fix, I hope, somebody else says something out there and, maybe somebody in Nintendo, catches word of these woes and does something about this, because we just want the eShop to be better. And I hope at the end of the day, anybody who listened to this that made it to the end doesn't just get all sad and stuff about the eShop. Just it's okay. It's just the storefront, but it should be better, right?
Yeah, definitely. It works, and that's the most important part. Imagine if it didn't work, then that would be a whole other talk. But this was just some features that we wish were different, and what we like, what we dislike, and so on. But please let us know what you guys think down in the comments below, or your experience with the eShop, things you wish were implemented in the eShop, things you like, things you dislike. Like me and Sion did. We did one thing we liked, one thing we disliked. I would love to see that down in the comments below.
Yeah, if you were dreaming about the eShop right now, just straight snoozing, what would the eShop look like in your dream world? And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button, because it's bursting with flair and charm and character, and it's fun. It's fun to click that subscribe button and then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we put up a new video. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Felix, for joining me on this chat.
No problem.
Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time. You know what would be better, Felix?
What?
Is if they just brought back the Wii Shop channel. What if we just had that?
What if it was just like a Wii?
Forget the Switch.